This is me, Yuri. This is 111th live stream I'm doing. I'm gonna be live coding some crazy stuff today. Let me know if the video and sound is alright, and let's get started. And meanwhile, I'm gonna show you what's gonna be the website we're gonna be trying to code today. Hey, morning everyone. Let me know where you're from. Always curious about the geography of all the viewers. Hope it's good. I'm gonna switch the screen now. Yeah, so this is the website we're gonna be trying to, I don't know, decompile, replicate, trying to do something with it. I kind of like this effect with the images and the scroll effect. Just try to go there with the URL and, well, tell me if you like it. Probably you will. I'm not sure they got the award for this one, but they definitely will get all the possible awards for this one. So this is the portfolio website for Robin Noguier, and it's done by Lorenzo Cadamuro from Italy. This is a French designer and the Italy developer. This is a nice merch. Hey everyone. So I assume that you hear me as you're just answering my questions. Morning everyone. So it's a pretty cool website. It's pretty complicated to do too. I'm not gonna do it 100%, but let's try to see what we're gonna do in 1 hour. So without further ado, let's just start. I'm gonna create the folder, and now the most complicated part of the stream. How would we name the folder? Amazing, it's gonna be the name of the folder. Okay. I will probably need Three.js because this website is built with a Three.js with React Free Fiber on top of it. But we're going to be trying to do this one with the Three.js and with the native JavaScript without any React. Hey, Amsterdam, hey France. Morning. Okay, let's go. Amazing website. Amazing website. And again, I'm in love with this website. I was actually planning to do some other website today, but when I saw this one released this week, I guess, it was just too good to miss. Okay, first of all, I'm going to create HTML with a simple JavaScript. I'm going to start kind of far from the original thing, but let's see. I need some kind of block. And I need some app.js. So we're really coding this amazing website from scratch. I'm crazy, I know. I'm challenging myself each time even harder. Like, it's not just complicated tech, it's just complicated for me to do as well. Okay. And I probably need to run this whole thing. Let's run it with the parcel, even though we don't quite need parcel yet, but just, why not? So alert is working. Now I can move my screen around, do some basic layout. Morning everyone, morning. Gonna do some basic layout thing. So I could see the chat and everything. All right. Yeah. Seems good. All right. Not much so far, but we already spent 5 minutes. Oh fuck, I'm running out of time already. So where do we start with this one? Well, if you're if you're like beginner maybe in all this stuff, you might think that 3D part here is like the interesting part in this website, but that's not it. The most like hard and crucial part of this whole experience is not actually 3D. It's not Three.js, not even React 3 Fiber. This is this interaction done with the scroll. It feels so good, like this inertia, and when you scroll, you just get to the closest item, something like this, and it's really hard to do without React Spring. I believe it's done with the React Spring. I'm not sure if there's any library that replicates, that solves this kind of problem with without React. So that's why I'm gonna write my own. Yeah, morning. Yeah, it's made pretty cool. So, well, basically this is HTML part and this is 3D part. This is Three.js part. I also like this kind of thing. Like if you haven't mouse overed this part yet, it's amazing. I like this one. I like the interactiveness of this one. Okay, so let's start with a simple thing. Enough about praising. I'm gonna just add the event listener. So I'm gonna just do wheel and then some event, and then let's log some event, right? I believe there's gotta be some delta there. Yeah, like delta y is the speed of the mouse, like the speed of the scroll that I'm doing. So I want to introduce speed, which is 0 by default, and then when I will be scrolling, I will be increasing that speed. So speed will be e delta y plus delta y. And because this value is so big, I guess I need to multiply it with something really small, maybe this kind of thing. And then I need to, I don't want to be hooked to the wheel event the whole time. So I'm going to do the request animation frame. And then log speed here. And then I need to run this one. So now when I do the scroll, there's some value that's increasing. I could actually decrease it if I scroll back and I'm coming back to 0, right? But this is some value that's being increased or decreased this whole time. I kind of want to use this value to move some item. Like I want to use this value as a speed of some item. So I'm gonna create also position, which is equal to 0, and position is gonna be plus equals speed. And then to have some inertia, I need to multiply speed with something less than 1, something like that. And now I would have so it's 0, and then I'm scrolling, it goes to the 0 point and it stops. So it's some inertia with the scroll, right? I think I gotta make this one smaller, even smaller than that, because it's been added up on each of the frames, and it's a lot of the stuff. Oh, this is interesting library. I need to check it up later. So now when I'm scrolling, I have some value increasing. Let's just do equals what? Let's just visualize this behavior. Okay, and now I want to move this element. This means that I'll be setting x to be 0 and this part to be position. And because position is quite small, between like 0 and 1, 2, 3, I'm gonna multiply this one by 100 pixels. No, not yet. Because why? Block, get element by ID block. Transform, translate. Come on, just work. Okay, block is right. Okay, just the values are still quite small. All right, and then also need to do something like body. Okay, it's just the values are too small. Too small. Why they are too small? Maybe I've gone too far with those zeros. Okay, so now when I scroll, I have this kind of inertia with the scroll involved. I'm just scrolling right now, top to bottom. Gotta remove those console logs. I'm just scrolling. And the position is multiplied by 100, so I'm kind of, when I'm scrolling each time, I'm going like roughly 200 or 300 pixels, which is kind of cool. But let's do maybe, let's increase it a bit. It feels a bit better that way. You could play, of course, with all the coefficients. And now the next thing I want to do, like this is the usual scroll. If you just scroll something, I don't know, actually, maybe the scroll would work the same. It just doesn't really matter. You just need to get the scroll and then the delta. This is the only thing I wanted to do. So it's not really important here, I guess. I think probably for this event you need to detect like what's the browser now, like what is it, the mouse, maybe is it a touchpad, something like this. Is it a touch event? If this is a touch event, you're going to be using the other event, something like that, sort of that. But the wheel works for the touch pad, so it's good enough for me. So this is just kind of a usual scroll. What I want this scroll to stick to some values. And what are those values? Those values could be the integer parts of the position value. So I can do this like this, rounded, like equals 0, and then on each of the frames, rounded is gonna be and let's log this rounded value. So now if I'm scrolling, it's 0, then 1, 2, 3, so I just scroll 2 slides back, and now it's 2. Now it's 1, but this whole time this is a rounded value, and the position is somewhat between those rounded values. So it's like the value of rounded is 2 and the position is 1.7. So I need to gravitate the value position towards the closest rounded value. And for this I'm gonna do like diff equals rounded minus position. I don't know why I put brackets there. And then I need to add something to my current position, so I will gravitate this one towards the closest position. For this one, I'm gonna just add, this is a simple lerp actually. It could be done with the lerp function, but diff multiplied by something small. And let's see now what's gonna happen. So when I'm barely scrolling right now, it just gets back to the original position. But if I scroll a bit harder, it goes for the next slide. And if I scroll hard, it just stops on some of the next slides. And well, it's hard to see. Maybe let's just put the position here. So it's 0 right now. If I scroll, it just goes to 1 and it stays at 1. If I scroll harder, it goes to 3 and stays at 3. So I kind of just did this sticky kind of scroll inertia spring-like values, and they just stick to the integer values, like the 4, 3, and if I scroll, just barely scroll, it gets back to the original integer value. And it's just the same thing that we see here. Like when we scroll something, slightly scroll something, it doesn't really move to the next slide. So you need to put some effort to go to the next slide. And this is what we just did. This is kind of perfect. I think, well, you could play with those values a lot. You could change the speed inertia, like if I do 99, let's just try this one. What's gonna happen? It would really go far with the original scroll because the speed doesn't go down. And just empirically I found out that those values feel kind of good to scroll. Yeah, I think this is good. There's also some additional things that I think I did last time. So instead of just using diff, I did something like this, just to change the physics of the event a bit. And also, it goes by the hundreds of pixels. Let's just do for the visual thing. How do we do something each hundred of pixels? Come on. The Visual Studio is just too clever. Yeah. So you could see now how it sticks to the to those things that I just created, those bars. But what I didn't like about this one is that it's kind of too slow going towards the integer parts, and that's why I changed a bit the math behind this one. So I did this. And this is an infinite field of playing with those values. So what I'm just doing here, I'm just taking some kind of root. I'm just making a math power of this value, so it changes the physics of approaching the zero. I mean, if you understand what I'm saying. So it's kind of different feel. I don't know, 0.7. So it's kind of a square root of 1.5 or something like that. Not the square root. It's a root of, okay. I'm just raising it to the 0.7 power. This should feel a bit better. Okay, let's try it. It just moves faster. It sticks faster to the original values. Like, and also have some inertia. Like if it goes too far, it just pops up and then gets back. Yeah. So we got the inertia. Are we ready to do this scaling? So right now we have the inertia. No 3D actually happened yet in this stream. We just have this whole code visible on the screen. What's going to be next? At some point I will need to introduce 3D and Three.js, but I'm not sure whether I should first. Yeah, let's just experiment a bit. Let's get all the elements. And now inside the stream, let's get some object, like let's obj, which is going to be equal to array 5 fill with something weird. I'm not even sure I need this one, like the distance 0. It's going to be array of 5 objects with distance 0. And then inside here, it's just some kind of state, probably. Ouch. Not using React, but using the state concept. Okay, not really a state. Object, and I'm going to be iterating those. And on each of the iterations, just use I2. So I can calculate the distance from this red block towards the black bars, right? Of course I can do that. So this way the red block starts like centered around each of the bars. It's kind of better for what I want to illustrate now. Now I can calculate the distance between red block and each of the blocks. And the distance is going to be just easy as... So it's going to be, dist equals current position minus I, because the position of each of the elements is actually static. It's just 0 and yeah, just the number of the element. So for the first element, the position is actually 0 and the original position is 0, and that means the distance between them should be 0. And then I'm gonna kind of need odist equals 1 minus odist. So now this means that should I do that at this point? So this value for the closest element is 0, and then it just grows. Okay, and let's do the following. So now I have these elements. So elements I style transform scale, and inside of the scale, like I wanted the original element to stay the same size probably, and all the others to scale. Let's just do the crazy thing and just do this. This could be negative, right? So let's for now just take the module of this one. Now they're going to be shaders, just wait a bit. Just means shaders are not as important as everything else. This is just an illusion that shaders are important. In the end, these kind of things are important. You can use them anywhere. Shaders, iOS, anything. So yeah, I'm gonna use all these to the scale. Let's just see what's gonna happen. And we have this nice weird thing happening now. So depending on the distance between the red square, you have the different scale. And this is actually nice animation by itself already. Kind of like it, even though it's easy to do. But let's continue. Yeah, I kind of want to max out the animation. So the maximum distance is going to be 5. If I divide this by 5, so the maximum scale is going to be just 1, maybe even 4. Couldn't get further than 4. So the farther bar is going to be scaled to 1. I also want to take the between this and 1. So I'm taking the minimum value between the distance, so it's not gonna go over the 1. I think I gotta take the F's here then. I don't care the direction of the distance anyway, so I just care about the distance. So this is gonna be 1 at most. I don't need to take F's here anyway already. Yeah, get in there. And then I could do something like this. Let's just fast forward. So I'm just scaling a bit the element I'm currently at. I think also it's a bit better to do this quadratic curve, and then let's just make the scale a bit bigger. So right now when we scale, we just go through all the elements. And now the mind-blowing part, if we just change the this thing, okay, I'm gonna comment this thing, and then I'm gonna add the So it might seem to you that we are not using 3D and shaders, but we are already in kind of 3D. We are halfway there. Rep. And instead of translating the red block, I'm going to be translating this rep part. But I think it should go to the other side. So now it might already look familiar to you. So when we're scrolling, all the objects like in this particular position, like right here, they're just increasing their, it's like the active, it's just the same as the active object. Of course, I would need to clamp the value so it doesn't go below 0 and anything else. What? What is happening? But otherwise, when we're staying at 0, the first bar is active, then the second bar, then the other ones. What? Can you say something without the exclamation marks? All right, now it's time to get dirty with the Three.js. I'm gonna copy my scaffold. I probably need to rename the file. This is JS file. I'm gonna call this one a module. So this one is a module, like a 3D part, and this is going to be the scroll part. And it's going to be next. So I need to run this module, and the way to run it is to import this one. This is the usual, it's just like the basic Three.js template. And the way to run it is just to import this one. Hey everybody. So I'm going to import sketch from. Okay, do you want me to kick you or what? This is a way to kick anybody. How do you kick someone? Okay. We've got 10 minutes break. I'm sorry, we just had to say something. Okay, so we get this module. I'm gonna run this one. I'm gonna sketch. And we probably should see the canvas being added up to the whole animation. App.js. This is a module, sketch, the module, imports Three.js, all this stuff, and then I need to go to the index.html and add the container. So where is the, do we have something? We have the container, we have the canvas, so I just need to position this canvas on top of everything. And also so we have the Three.js scene, the basic one with something like that. Now let's do what? It's gonna be next. I'm gonna put this whole scene behind my animation. Okay, I guess I need to make everything else absolute too, just so I see it. -1, yeah. So we have our scroll thing working, we have a 3D in background. Next, I'm gonna add some images. Have some images. Just some random stuff. They even have different sizes, but who cares? Okay, I just need to get the aspect ratio, and the aspect ratio is, what's that? I believe it's 1.5. Come on, I need to Google that. Yeah, it's 1.5. So just to not handle aspect ratios at all, I'm gonna just remember that value. And I need to add some HTML, right? So instead of just having those random blocks, I'm gonna add some images. So let's pretend we got some HTML with the images. So yeah, they are quite small and they are being scaled, but you could see the images right there. I made them small intentionally just so they fit into those small blocks. Yeah, maybe it's better this way. Right, still no 3D, right? No shaders. Where are the shaders? So let's look for them. I already have kind of shaders here, so I'm just gonna check real fast they're working for me. Gotta be red. Perfect, it's gonna be yellow. It works, it's gotta be green. Okay. All the colors are in place. What else? What else? What else? Feels like those hours when I'm streaming is just kind of stress. I'm challenging myself not to forget anything, not to make any mistakes. Okay, I need to somehow make them more relaxed. This is because I don't have wine today. Yeah, probably because of the wine. All right, have images. Okay, we're gonna go to the 3D scene, 3D part. I'm gonna add these images, handle images. These handle images. Handle images. Then let images equals query select all the images. Well, of course you would not do this. You would not do that on the real website, but anyway, just relax. It's Sunday morning. It almost sounds like a joke to me. Like, I did already 100 videos on Sunday mornings, and Sunday mornings are like this equals a little bit of stress to me. But thanks, I really appreciate that. Okay, so for each images, we're gonna go through them. And what I want to do now, what the hell, come on, man. Who is here even? Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for your support. Just write something in chat. That kind of feels good. Okay, I need those images. I already have material here, like this kind of thing is a shader material. So on this loop where I handle images, I'm gonna create another material. It's gonna be this material clone. In my material, I want to add some texture also, some uniform texture. Texture 1 type T, value null. Okay, and then I have this uniform. I have an image, so I can do this. I can do uniforms, value, texture 1 value. Thank you guys. It's gonna be U3 texture, and you could just use the image there. You could just do textures like that from the DOM, and then somewhere later on I will need to create the mesh, which is gonna be U3 mesh, and then geometry, which I don't have yet, and then material. Mesh, and then I'm going to be adding this mesh. And then I need geometry, and this is where the part where I need to remember the aspect ratio. So I'm going to just do the same aspect ratio. So we should be having 5 planes now. We don't, to distinguish between them, to make them a different position, I'm gonna have meshes. And if the height of the plane is 1, it's probably need to be something like this. So we have those planes now, they all green, and this is because we're not using this texture uniform. So let's try to use this one. It's gonna be something is wrong. PC. Where do I have this PC frag color, by the way? What a weird mistake. Maybe it's just some typo, it's saved. Where did it take this one? What the heck? Maybe just add in space. I will also need to remove this log, I hate it. Still this weird error, but I don't have this. I don't even have this. Maybe I should just rerun the parser. Okay, let's just look for this one. So they're saying this is 101 line. This is just gel frag color. Yeah. But why is it saying this? But what? You're probably right, guys. That's because it took maybe some. I have no idea why. Okay. So now they are black. This is good. Black is good. It's better than nothing. And this is the wrong file I'm looking at. How many times you spend like 2 minutes looking at the wrong file and then just realize? Okay, I need to go to the module and what? I don't need this. And I think I need to do this. Well, in the perfect world, you would need to preload all the images probably and use some loader. But in my imperfect world, I could just use this. So right now we have the scroll physics already. We have a 3D part where we have all those planes, which is perfect. Come on, man. Not cool. Yeah. Now we just need to connect those two worlds. Alrighty. How do we do that? How do we do that? Well, first of all, there are two things that we need to do right now, because on the original website, you see this cool kind of thing. And there are also some parallax effect. See this? And I really like this floating like thingy happening there. And to do this, I'm going to go to the vertex shader. Okay, let's do this first, yeah. So I want to do parallax here. I want to make it light. Finally, some shaders, right? So I need to add something to the y coordinate probably to move those things around. So I'm gonna just position y equals. I'm gonna be adding something to the position y, just so they float a little bit, top to bottom. And what's that gonna be? It's gotta be some sine function from the time, probably. The speed we're gonna work out, multiplied by something small, because this one's gonna be between -1 and 1, and we need something tiny, like this maybe. Okay, we're not using this variable yet, just need to change it. Now we're using it, but only for the original plane, and this is because we are cloning the materials and they are not cloning the uniforms. So for this to work now, we need to do we need to have these materials, and We are getting closer. That's a pretty clever cat, only to type with exclamation marks. Or maybe he's just like laying on the keyboard. Yeah, it would make sense. Maybe the cat is sleepy. So this mesh is push mesh, and I have the materials, and this means I need to update all the uniforms. It's black. Yeah, this is because okay, we have this floating now. I need to remove this redundant thing that I created already from the original template. Okay, we got some floating in place now. I think it's too fast, so I'm gonna multiply this one by something small. But it's floating with the texture, it's just floating together, and it's not cool. And to make it cool, I'm gonna do this as well. I think I'd probably need to scale then, but let's just see how it works out. So right now when we are moving, maybe minus here. So they both go in the same direction, but the VV is a bit faster because it's not because the values are different. Well, it's because the system of coordinates are different systems of coordinates, because those are VUVs between 1 and 1, and the other one is just the position in the global space, I don't know, in the local space or whatever. And to avoid this kind of texture bleed, or what you call it, I'm gonna just do just a little bit of scale to prevent that one. I know the cool guy is gonna be using matrices for this one, but I'm not a cool guy. Okay, we just avoided those bleeding parts. So we have this parallax in place. It's kind of floating around a little bit. Then we need to connect. Now we need to finally connect those things to the scroll. So the scroll is in app.js. We have this sketch, and just after we invoke this sketch, we will have the array of all those meshes. Right? But if you remember also, we have this kind of, first we have the bending for each of the items, and second, we have them rotated. If I just do the rotation for each of the meshes, that's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen. Where are they? Where are they? Mesh, rotation, Y. You're welcome. So if you just rotate the meshes, it actually looks kind of cool already, but it's not quite what I wanted to do. I think, well, maybe it might work for us actually. Well, you could see that with those rotations, you could now do any kind of thing here. But let's first, I think maybe it's better first to connect the scroll and then play with the rotations. Because after we do the rotations, it's gonna be like almost there already. Okay, concentrate. Scroll, and we are moving those meshes. So each mesh has a position at the moment, and they are separated by 1.2. Okay, let's do that. So instead of 100 pixels, we now have 1.2 units. That's the only difference. So instead of moving this whole rep, I'm gonna do these meshes, not this, sketch meshes for each mesh, and then mesh position y equals equals what? Null or something. I don't actually need anything to be attached. I could just remove all those blocks. They're just for the visualizing purposes. That is all. It's gonna be y multiplied by 1.2 plus this position multiplied by 1.2. Probably something like that, yeah. Does it make sense? It should. So now when I scroll, it's going to be always one div at this, not the div, it's not div anymore, one shader material in the center. And because I used this scale thing before, I could also scale it. And well, because I already have this kind of loop, I could just move it here. This is the same loop. So I'm gonna do this sketch, meshes, and then the same thing here. And then the scale should be this value, like let's scale. I guess that's too big of a scale. And we're also going to the opposite direction, probably. Yeah, so right now we are at 0. I was starting from the bottom because I'm kind of scrolling top. It doesn't really matter. So when I'm scrolling, each of these 3D elements come into the top. So we just created kind of slider. You could even do this. No, you could use this as a custom slider. I think the scale is too big. It's gotta be like real tiny. And the scroll always sticks to the center. Yeah, and it feels good also. Like, I don't know if you can feel it, but it feels good to me. All right. Now, what I want to do next. So I want to do two things more in this stream. First, I want to bend each of those things. Then I want to rotate this whole thing. Okay, I want to do a lot of things. Let's just try to do those. Taking small steps. First bending. Now we have the wireframe. So we have x and y coordinates, and to bend something means changing those coordinates. Okay, so if we add something to, like, let's say we're going to be adding VUV, just the UV x, what's going to happen? Nothing, because I screwed this in up. Still nothing happening. What the hell? Don't you like undeclared identifier? Yeah. So we're gonna have this, right? But if I do the sign pi multiplied by this value, I'm gonna get this. And if I could see it. And if I multiply this value by something small, it's gonna be just a little bended. I think you could do the same thing to the x coordinate. This means it's gonna bend the same way there. Maybe it's cooler to do it to the z coordinate. Yeah, so it's kind of bended towards the viewer. So you could do any kind of things here. And it especially looks cool because of the scale that we already added, because the whole mesh is being scaled when we scroll, and it looks kind of cool. All right, we got the bend part. I need to remove the wireframe. Now we have the banded objects. Somewhat cool. Even smaller, I guess. So even the little touch already feels good. Yeah, something like that. It's just a real tiny bend there. And the eye already catch that. Okay, we got the bend. Now let's do the rotation part. Rotation part. So let's just add some random rotation first. Well, it's kind of what was on the website actually. Could do it this way also. But you could see it doesn't quite get you the feeling. Maybe it's just too big. All the meshes are being rotated separately, and to change that I'm gonna do this. These groups, and then okay, thanks Anthony. Yeah, group add mesh, this in add group, and then we need these groups push group, right, because I need them exposed. And now instead of rotating the mesh, I'm gonna rotate the group. Groups is not, yeah, it feels much better now. I think one of the rotations is too big. Well, it kind of, right? I think we could play with the sizes of the objects and with the rotation just a bit. Maybe the Y rotation should be a bit bigger. Yeah, like that. Now each of the objects are getting bigger. So what else? What else we could do here? Finally, two things left. When we're done two things, now two things left. I want to create maybe the DOM, so something shows up when we stop stopping on each of the frames. And then another thing that maybe you want to create, maybe not, like all those objects are being scaled when they get into the to the center. For this I would need to use the uniform which states the distance towards the center from each of the elements. What's better? Do we need this DOM? I think it's pretty clear how to add DOM here. Like we already have this kind of DOM, by the way. We have it duplicated. We've actually done this animation 2 times in JavaScript. I mean in HTML and okay, this looks pretty cool already. Let's add the distance. I think distance is cooler. It would just add up to the whole effect. Yeah, of course we could do that. Yeah. You're right. Just that in this template by default I have it disabled. Yeah, the edge looks much better now. Alrighty, maybe the scale just a bit better. No, we don't actually need to add the scale because once we do the distance, it's gonna be much better, much better. So I need to go to the uniforms and I need to create this distance, which is gonna be float and 0 by default, and then inside fragment shader, I'm gonna use this distance. This is probably the the wrong name. It's better not to use built-in names. It's going to be distance from the center, distance from center, and then I would need to update this distance where inside my scroll probably. So I already have this kind of dist value here, and this dist value is between 0 and 1 always, between 0 and 1. So it's 1 for the center block, and then it goes 0 for the other ones. This means that I could just do this. It's actually pretty simple what's left to do here. Equals dist. And now just to visualize this thing, I'm gonna multiply by this value. Well, you get the point already. So we could probably do something like this. A equals clamp to like 6, 1. Right? Am I doing it right? And I also need to set the transparent to true for the material. It's in the module. Probably more transparency. Now you could see that when it's active, it's just coming. I could also do this like how do you make the texture black and white real fast? How do you make it real fast black and white? This is the wrong way to do this. RPG. This is a real wrong way to do this, but and then it's gonna be mixed between. There gotta be a better way. There gotta be a better way to do this. Distance from center. Right? No, something's not right. So this is another. This is float black and white. What's wrong? Mix, no matching found for T, not black and white, but another. Okay, this is the other way around. Right, so all the others are now black and white, and when we scroll, the current one just pops into the color. Isn't that cool? Okay, we could also do the zooming part here. So instead of using the texture right away, what's happening there, by the way? The texture is being, so when it comes to, it just zooms a little bit. All right, so I'm gonna do to new v equals should probably do that in vertex shader, right? Yeah, probably it's better to do in vertex shader. So instead of multiplying by this is really zoomed already. Like this is the biggest zoom. So I need to have something subtracted from this value. It's going to be something like this. And distance from the center, I need to have it here. Yeah, it's way to play with the physics here. Yeah, it feels a bit better, maybe not. Well, of course, you could play with some math here, like to make it more plausible. I think I could also do this sticking a bit more harder, like let's scroll a couple of those elements. It's pretty cool, right? So maybe we have like 3 minutes left. Maybe not. I think I did everything that I wanted. So we have this thing connected to the scroll. We have black and white saturation. We have zooming. We have floating. What else left is it? Okay, yeah. The one important thing that's left that I wanted to do here. The last thing. I think it's gonna take like 5 to 6, 5 to 8 probably minutes. But I really want to do this one. So I want to do boom, 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 because this is the other thing that I liked about this website. What? This is really cool, and I want to do that. I want to really do that. Okay, so we have this kind of list, and this is my my take on this one. Yeah, I know. So now I wanna do this. I'm kind of trying to think ahead, so I will make less steps and less errors. Now I need to add a couple of events. I don't think it's clip and mask to the images. I think it's just two sets of images. And when the background comes, it just overflows just one set of images. I believe so. Out of screen, really? What the hell happened with my screen, by the way? Oh, this whole time I have my screen spoiled. Why didn't you tell me? Ouch. Oopsie. Okay, now I can see my whole screen. Oh, this is frustrating. Alright, that happens. This happens. I just forgot that I clipped my screen at the start. Yeah, thanks for appreciating it. Okay, it's just nav Lee, just any Lee, to be honest. And then I want to do the mouse over for the nav also. I need this event. also need oh, maybe a cliff path polygon. I haven't looked at it, but I think anyway he had the double of these 3D elements, because like this part, when I'm clicking it, just one of the images stays on the screen, but they are all in this 3D space. So I believe he doubled all these 3D elements there. For the text, this is just the HTML clip, of course, yeah. But I thought you were referring to this part. Like, see, only the colored image is gonna be visible. This is amazing, by the way. And I believe it's done with the doubling all the elements. I actually wonder how to do this with the React 3 Fiber. I believe it should be more straightforward, maybe. It's not publicly available, but all my Tumpanos articles are using it, so you could just copy paste it from there. It's really basic one. Navs for each, and then okay, it's just a little bit left, just a little additional step that I wanted to do. For each L. Oh. Okay, we got it. Okay, we got the numbers when we mouse over the things. And now so track mode is false by default, but then so scrolling works. Then it stops when I mouse over in the nav, and then tracked 2 equals 0 by default. But then when I mouse over, I'm going to just set attract to this value. And it's got to be a string, so probably better do something like this. So right now nothing's going to be happening when I'm mouse overing, but I'm setting the attract to value. And in my loop, I want to do something like this, probably. Okay, run one. Yay! Now we have this nav. It has some inertia, but I guess it's better to play with this one. It's way to go with the speeds and easings. But this is the thing. This is the thing. And then also we could do, what else we could do? So we had this rotation part, last thing, like, truly last thing, guys. And then I wanted to do, I have these rotations like these ones, and I have groups, and I can do this equals, it's gonna be sketch groups map, and it's gonna be rotation. Yeah, so these are the rotations I got. And now I could do this. Oof, rods. And get them back. And to get them back, I need those values. Why is... come on. Let's see. So the mouse hovering, just making everything straight. Maybe the other way. Yeah. Well, it's pretty cool already, right? We can even try to win some awards with this one. Yep, maybe... No, I think I gotta stop. I gotta stop. Yeah, I already have this kind of Discord for everyone who like supported me at some point in the past, even with $1, got access to that kind of Discord. So you could get there too. It's not really active a lot. There's a Three.js Discord also, and there's the React 3 Fiber Discord also, where lots of people meet. So it's pretty cool, I think, right? We could also add the HTML part, but I think it's gonna be the... This is gonna be the homework. Oh, it was pretty cool. I'm feeling kind of sad that I that I hit part of my screen for the whole stream, but I hope it was all right. Yeah. I think it feels a lot better with the React sprints, to be honest. It's a lot of fiddling with the GSUP and all the parts. I wish there were some React sprints for the Sans React, you know, without React. But I don't know, I haven't seen this one. So I hope you liked this one. Thanks for being with me. I will be like for 1 or 2 minutes online to answer any questions. I'm also planning to do the short videos now. I think I'm I'm getting tired myself of making long videos, so I want to do the short videos, decompiling some specific animations. Yay! Without credit card and Patreon. I don't know. Just the words are pretty much enough. Words of support mean a lot to me. I'm not that much of a money guy. So even when someone supports me on Patreon, it's more about the time that the person took to do this thing, like to support me, because $1 per month is not really a huge amount of money. So I care about you caring. So if you care about doing that, that's already a huge support to me. Yay! Thanks, guys. Thanks for sharing this morning with me. I'm gonna try to do something dumb now. Probably gonna play some games. I think we got a record of concurrent viewers. Oh my gosh, we got 70 guys online. Well, I hope you were not bored with me. Yeah, sometimes I do show, sometimes not. The thing is, then people start to ask me about support and about something doesn't work in there because, you know, I made it in under 1 hour. There's a lot of things to do here. This is the perfect polished project that probably took, I don't know, 1 or 2 weeks at least from the top-notch developer. And you should also check out the original developers from the website because they're pretty cool. I mean, the Lorenzo Kadamuro, and follow him on Twitter, see his website. He's a real cool guy. I hope he's gonna like this stream too. Not to undermine any of his efforts with my 1 hour applications. It's far from perfect. but it's pretty cool. So yeah, guys, follow me on Twitter, support me on Patreon. I don't know, just support me with the kind words. I was glad to spend this morning with you. Probably we're gonna meet in a week in the next stream. And if you have any suggestions on how to improve anything, on which the websites you want me to decompile, I'm always open to that. Maybe I would do the website you need to be decompiled. Otherwise, have a nice day, guys. Have a nice day.